Hello, welcome into the video. My name is NearlyLeglessLee, and today we're going to be building orange trees. Yeah, me building orange trees. Trees in general are just my thing. But anyway, if you want to see me derping around doing this live, check me out on Twitch. But here we go, my first ever YouTube video. This is not take number 25 of me doing my intro, I promise. Okay, let's get into it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Editor Lee telling other Lee off. Montages and time lapses go at the end. Alright, on with the video. Here we go. This is all the orange things I could find in Minecraft. We've got everything from sand to concrete to wool to honey of every kind, pumpkins. This is not the third time that I'm running through absolutely doing this all over and over and over again. And the good job is you would have seen a small time lapse before this, teasing you to what it looked like at the end. And hopefully it looks good, because at the moment there's nothing there. If you only knew what I was editing out. Normally I would say start with a trunk. You want to base the tree on the size by using the trunk. This is not necessarily the only way of building a tree. If you're wondering where we're building today, we are building on Alpha Centauri. We are in space in the rainbow donut of the sky. Alpha Centauri is my supporter server. If you want to know more about that, there's links in the description below. I am going to be building this tree in Creator today, is because we can do really cool things like use World Edit and Pick Block. You can middle mouse click and get the material you want if you put out your block palette in front of you. This is why when I'm building, I do try and tend to put out a full block palette of what I'm going to use, mainly because I forget all the time. Here we go again, part 2. One with gamma on, so everyone can see what I was doing, and the recording's not completely dark. I will be turning gamma off and on, which I'm using a mod called Tweakaroo for that, so we can build in the dark, and then we can add in lights later on. Placing the first blocks. I try and think of it like roots. That's how I kind of look at it, the first few blocks. Place down a lot of blocks, and then chop as many as I can out that I don't think are needed. I do that a lot when building trees. Trees have to feel very organic. The reference to, I would say, to building organic is random. Organic is essentially a bit like art. It's subjective, but I normally try and get a good shape for it first. Also, and this is very, very different if you're building in fantasy style, I try and make things look semi like they can hold themselves up, or semi-realistic. Trees don't tend to be exactly straight. Well, not in the style that I'll design. We want to add some branches in. Like I said, I just said I don't add in straight things to the trees, and the first thing I do is add a straight thing to the tree. Do exactly what you said not to do, Lee. That's a good build tutorial. Awesome. Don't be afraid of going up and down. Branches go up and down as well. Here's me jumping in here, forgetting something that I normally do from the very start. Deciding whether you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 branches on your tree to give yourself a direct number in your head, so you're not trying to add things in that you don't need to do. I've kind of gone with 3 by the looks of it. Yeah, I'm going to stick with 3, and I give myself some time just to look around the tree. Here's another part of the build tutorial where I've added another section in after the fact. One thing I forgot to add to my build palette was the extra grey blocks that I might use within the tree trunk. There is no right or wrong way of building a tree. There is no wrong block to use. Acacia can be tough in regards to what to use, because if you strip the block, it goes this kind of dark orange colour. This would actually work quite well as a block inside the build itself, because we're doing orange trees. Some other things that I've been known to add in the past is things like grey concrete powdering like this, where it would normally be where the sun would weather the side of the tree. Add in a bit more detail to this tree is add in things like slabs. Currently, andesite stairs and slabs are my go-to. I do try and add different levels. We could also use light grey carpet, I guess, in here. Now, if you are doing this in survival, you might want to use a lot more light grey carpet on the tops. The reason for that is because you probably want this to be spawn proof. A little bit like having a snow layer. I guess if you were going to do this in a snowy biome, if you're going with a different type of tree, obviously we're going with an orange tree, which is feeling a bit more autumn-like. Like I said, trying to break up those layers between things like carpet, slabs and blocks also stairs. That is how you get those details in between. There's no rocket science to this. It's trial and error. Sometimes you can go a bit too far with you can get really carried away with spawn proofing, cover everything in carpet and realize it doesn't actually look that great. There we go. The bottom half of the tree to me is looking pretty much there. The only thing I'll probably add in is one more shade. We'll add some andesite in here. We'll also add some andesite slabs in here as well, where we can. Maybe a few stairs here and there, just to add some of the colors, grey colors across from the bottom of the tree into the midsection of the tree. I don't know why that feels right sometimes to have a stair on the end. It just feels like an end of a branch would thin out. First things first, we want to use orange wool because the orange wool is the base color, and sometimes it's good to add in the shapes of your foliage first before you start to play around with it anymore. Now, I tend to try and make a shape from the angle I'm looking at first. So we're now seeing that we've got that sort of roundish shape. This is the sort of fantasy style I'm going for. Very sort of stylized tree. We do have to remember this is going to be more 3D. So we're going to have to create that shape this way round as well. Now you could do this with World Edit, and I know a lot of people would use World Edit for this. I find that if I use World Edit brushes to make spheres, I can see the sphere that is a generic World Edit sphere a bit too easily. So I tend to do these things by hand. That is one thing I've learned with building trees. It doesn't necessarily need to be even, especially when you're trying to make things look more organic. I am making this in creative, so it's a little bit easier than if you were doing this in survival. I have done these trees in survival. If you do want to check out the trees that I've done, orange blossom trees that I've done, the easiest way to do that is come and find us on Twitch. So this bit is going to be a bit different. It's going to be a lot lower than the other side because the branch is lower, but I'm also not going to make this one an exact sphere or a sphere shape like the others. I'm just going to feel it along where the branch is. There's a good feel to the sort of shape of the tree that's going to be coming out. We probably want to start adding in some other colors in here. Darker oranges, also some lighter oranges as well. We'll add the glass in here and there at some point as well. Come back towards the very end and you'll see that a lot of these blocks will be gone. I use a sort of trial and error technique. You fill, you add, and then you remove where you feel like it was a little bit too much. Next thing to add, the orange concrete, which is a bit of a lighter orange to the orange terracotta that we've just added, which is also a bit more of a solid block. We haven't started adding in the glass yet, so it's going to feel very thick at this point. We're going more for that thick style. We do want a thick bush or foliage in here. We will then add in the glass later on for a lighter touch so you can see through and so light can get in and out. This is where I would normally add in the first layer of glass. Now this is also the next part of the process for me. This is where I will knock out some of the blocks that are currently there. There's no harm if you feel like on this side, which I've noticed here, this is feeling like a lot of glass and not so much as a solid block. So I add in some more solid blocks back into here. Don't be afraid of going back over your tree multiple times. There's no right or wrong way of adding in blocks. It does take a lot of trial and error, and this is my style of trial and error, where I want to have the aspect of still being able to see the branch going into the foliage area. We're going to be working on glass panes now. We want to add just a bit more depth. Sometimes it's not necessarily a full square. Sometimes it's just a case of adding in slices like this. Personally, I like adding in single panes on the sides. This is where I find the most benefit to glass panes, to give that non-uniform square edge or square shape to what you're building. This is definitely another case of add and delete wherever needed. Unfortunately, there is no shortcut to making these look great apart from trial and error. Enjoy it while you're doing it, and trial and error. Right, that is the main bulk of the tree done. We've got glass in there, glass panes, orange wool, orange concrete, and orange terracotta. Now this is where the fun starts, and this is where your creativity can really take on board. And when I did this on stream, we started adding in suggestions from chat. Some of them were things like honey. This is an amazing block. It still lets light through. It is obviously still orange, and gives a very cool element. The other thing that was suggested was jack-o'-lanterns, but they can be very useful as well. Also for lighting up, if you don't want this to be an absolute mob trap. Another element I would love to add in is orange concrete powder. I love concrete powder. My biggest downfall for concrete powder is it's a gravity block because of that texture. It has that flex of lighter orange in it. Take out 3-hour clip about how much I love concrete powder. We're going to start with the honey. This is the fun stage. It doesn't sound that great when you're using it. Honey has a very, very strange sound when you walk on it or place it. The other thing that I will note about honey, and this is something that I learned recently, glass does not attach to honey. So if you're going to put honey in and you want glass next to it, because honey is not a full block, glass will never attach to it. Something I try and not to do as much as I can is forget about the undersides of the tree. Something you're not going to be doing very often is going to be up by the sides of the tree, looking around the edges. You're going to be walking past it, so don't forget the undersides of the tree, guys. This is a good tip because I always forget, and I end up wanting to look afterwards and go, how did I miss that bit right underneath? Perfect. Look at that. A little bit extra detail. Next block, honeycomb. I wouldn't use too much of this personally because it's very very distinctive. That's the word I'm looking for. Distinctive. Brain work today. Words hard. You know what I mean. I actually am recording this video with a heavy head cold, so if I'm making absolutely no sense and this video is coming out all over the place, then you know what's happening. But it is also my first video. Now, I picked out orange sandstone slabs and stairs to see if actually we could add these in here as a block type. I mainly added in the stairs and slabs for texture or height difference. Upside down stairs work quite well here, not so squared off like that with the wool, which is perfect for an upside down stair. Right, before we get to the lighting of the tree itself, I'm going to go with the biome feel around it. Whoa, 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 this video would be way too long if we did texturing and biome blending. Leave a comment down below if you want to see a video on that. Anyway, onto the time lapse. Double checked, and I've kind of gone around a few times, just double checking how I feel about the tree, how I feel about the biome. Here and there I've just taken little notches out of the tree. The other element I'm going to be using in the tree is candles. Now with jack-o'-lanterns, when you're using it inside the tree, as not so much with candles, but with definitely with jack-o'-lanterns, you do not want the face pointing outwards. Unless you're going for that Halloween look. I know it is Halloween right now. In that case, I looked at the block that was to the side, so the face is facing towards the honeycomb there, but it gives that extra bit of light within inside the tree. This will help you out with spawns. I'm going to go ahead and add a number of these into the trees wherever I can. Sometimes it is quite hard to add them in and not face the face in the wrong direction. Once again, same as before, I've got to that point where I am adding in blocks and completely forgetting the underneath. In this case, I forgot to add light down here so they wouldn't have a sort of underglow, but we're going to add that in right now. I understand this feel is not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I build in a very fantasy style way, so trees obviously in real life do not give off light. In this case, this place is very dark, so if you're not used to building in fantasy, you might not want to add the lights in there, but it depends on if you want to make it spawn proof. totally up to you. But if you want to come and see me derp around with trees, build things like redstone or blow things up, the Twitch is the best place to catch me live. What he's trying to say are all the links are in the description below. Come and check us out on Twitch, where he doesn't have me to edit out all of his derps. I nearly forgot candles. We also have got banners. Sometimes banners is quite good. Place them pretty much anywhere. I wouldn't overuse them personally because they do tend to go through other blocks. So if you see in that case, they go through other blocks. And for me, that can break the illusion a little bit. The depth of field really helps, especially with the banners. I'm still forgetting candles and I'm holding them in my inventory. In my inner Harry Potter fan is really wanting to float them in midair underneath the tree. Part of me that is a bit more of a realist is thinking, well, surely candles underneath a tree floating in midair would just catch the tree on fire. So I'm going through a bit of a stage right now where to put them, because I really quite like candles and I haven't really used them that much. Now, from what I remember, you can actually add candles on top of a block and take the blocks away from underneath. Now, if this is wrong, feel free to go crazy in the comments below. There's a part of me that thinks they are a little bit too fantasy, but there's also a big part of me that's such a Harry Potter fan that remembers them floating in the Great Hall at Hogwarts, and I kind of want to use it in that respect. Okay, my Harry Potter fan is taken over. We're going for it. Candles. Candles are the new concrete powder, it seems. Cut out another 2-hour clip on how good candles are. Okay, these take a lot longer to place than I thought. If we switch over to what it looks like with shaders on, we'll see a very different look to these candles. Yeah, I thought so. I've just realized that I've added a lot of candles that are lit, but what I could do is add candles that are not lit and look like elements that are dropping down off the tree. Add more candles. 2 Ronnie's joke in there somewhere about fork handles. Another element of this tree. I'm just adding some candles here and there onto the tree itself to just mimic the bits that are falling off in midair. I actually think we're coming to the end of this tree. We just need to do a bit of cleanup on this side. How do you guys feel about the tree? Leave a comment in the comments box below what you think of this tree. If you want me to do other trees, or if you just want me to build anything, actually, leave a suggestion in the box below. But let's go and see what this looks like with shaders on when we've cleaned it all up. Here you go. I've built a tree. What do you guys think? Drop a like on this video if you liked it. If you want to drop a subscribe so you can see the next one, drop a notification bell as well. That will help you out. If you want to see this kind of stuff live, see me derping around and doing that kind of thing, there is a link in the description below for the Twitch. I'll see you soon, and I'll see you in the next video. Guys, have a good one. Bye! When do I get to say goodbye? No one's going to have made it this far in the video anyway to write Pineapple Panda Productions in the comments box below. Prove me wrong.